Hey everyone, today is August 3rd, 2025, and it's almost mid-season for me here with the head start with the help of my greenhouse. I started getting my main crop figs late June, I would say, so I'm gonna use late June because the majority, or when I started to get constantly more than a couple figs off a tree, some did ripen, at least Campineri or Iranian candy. One of them did ripen a fig in mid-June, but that was just a one-off. Constantly, the majority of the figs I tried at least start ripening late June, early July. So a month later, and I did pretty much tasted the majority of my figs so far, and I'm putting here a tracker for what are my top figs and what are some of the figs that I still need more time and to try more fruits before I can rank them here. For my own benefits, I like to track it, and also anyone who tried some of these figs and want a second opinion, I think this is helpful, especially if you live in my zone. So just to give you some background, I did start growing figs beside Chicago hardy types and Mount Etnas and some strange figs that I got off of eBay and from the local nurseries and what's not more than 15 years ago. But I would say roughly around 2009-10 when I got into what are the different figs that are out there, and I start to get addicted to collecting more and more figs because all I knew was the Peter honey, the black missions, the brown turkeys, and a lot of the Middle Eastern figs that I had from local Middle Eastern folks here in the Chicago area, with specifically from Palestinian origins. We have a lot of immigrants from the Middle East here, from Greece, and also I would say good number of Italians as well. So here and there, I started collecting figs. Not everything worked great for me, and I started getting into collecting figs. And I would say since then I grew and tried at least 300 varieties. A lot didn't even ripen fig for me, to be honest, and a lot were not per my expectations, and the majority were either identical or very similar to in taste and to each other. So I started experimenting, and again over time I started realizing there are many great figs. It's just not we don't have a great long season like many folks here in the south or out west, Arizona, California, and so on and so on. So over time I start liking more figs than others, and I'm still gonna be trialing and trying new varieties here and there. So what I have here in front of me is my own personal taste preference score for the figs that are, and again it doesn't have to be in specific sequence, even though I started putting what are my best one by one, but some of these here, they rank almost the same. So I'm gonna go here over this quickly here. So Pretto this season, again, at least for me for the last 3-4 years, been my favorite fig. And Pretto is very similar in taste. When it comes to taste, Pretto, Black Madeira KK, Craven's Craven, any of these figs, if I have a good tree, productive and mature enough and doesn't split a lot, then that variety will stay. Pretto is my oldest Black Madeira type, so naturally it's the one that performed the best for me, gives me the best taste. But I'm still keeping a few Black Madeiras, Black Madeira UCD and KK, and also I have a Craven, and I do have a Chipola, which is also the same. I did have Mario 50, which was identical as well. So Mario 50, Black Tuscan, and Madeira Island Black. I had all of these, and they were just exact same fig. I couldn't tell them apart. So am currently duplicating my Bretto for the most part. The second one, again, this is newish for me. It's almost 3 years now. This is the third season, and that's the Ondata. Amazing fig. It's been performing very well for me. Large size fig. The taste is just really good. Ondata taste is very distinct because it's not juicy or syrupy, but it does have good, nice, meaty texture, and it's super sweet. A lot of my friends praise about it, and they praise it a lot. They think it's an awesome fig, and I agree with them, and that's why it's in my number two. Number three is Sisak, very close to Smith when it comes to taste. However, Sisak does have a better taste overall, not that far off. Smith is an amazing fig. I think overall, if I count productivity and number of figs, the overall score, probably Smith is better, to be honest, and that's why I have more duplicates from my Smith than the Sisak. But I think Sisak is going to be as good when it comes to productivity. Close enough. I haven't seen it yet outperforming Smith, but the taste, Sisak is just slightly better. Smith, absolutely a must in my collection. And even though I have all of these different varieties that I'm going to talk about now, Smith is the one. Smith and Ondata right now are the one that I have the most duplicate from. After Smith, I have Figueroxo, amazing fig. The biggest advantage for me for Figueroxo is that later in the season, when it's cool outside at night, I'm talking 50s, it's still ripen its figs, and on top of that, it's very jammy, very sweet, really nice seed crunch, and it does perform very well, as I mentioned, in cooler climate. But it's very late fig. Figueroxo is it's not even mid-season. It's later than Black Madeiras so far, from my experience. Calderona. Excellent fig. It gets better every year. This year Calderona was a big surprise for me. I always knew Calderona is a good fig. Everybody's feedback, a lot of growers and collectors like Calderona, and the disadvantage is that Calderona is very weak rooter and it grows slowly, but once it takes off, it does very well. After Calderona, I have Black Celeste. Black Celeste, when you leave it to shrivel on the tree, when you leave it to ripen well on the tree, it's amazing fig. The taste is really good. It does have, I think, I taste a lot of raisin taste to it in it, and it's very sweet. My friend Antonio was here the other day, and he actually reminded me. He's like, it does have this blueberry punch to it, very mild, but he's right. I think you can taste it almost, and yeah, that's why it's here in the top of the list actually. After that, Mort de Caneva. If you asked me last year about Mort de Caneva, I would have told you I don't want to have it anymore. But then someone made me change my mind and told me, like, you know what, just give it another season, and I'm glad I listened. Because it did well this year. Again, so it's not on the top of the list, but it's out there. So very good sized fig. You have to leave it to shrivel in the tree. You have to wait. If you have a Mort de Caneva, I would say just wait 3 years minimum before you can decide if you want to keep it or not. The next group here in the middle are figs that I tried, but I think I need to ripen more figs before I can give them a better score, and that's including the Hatif d'Argenteuil, the White Baca, which is a new one for me, Irene Black Greek, La Picha, and White Madeira #1. I tried them all, but I want to give them more time because they didn't wow me. But I'm from my memory last season, beside the new one, the white Bacca, and the Arena Black is still new to me. Everything else was great, and that's why they made it this season. But I want to give them just more time before I rank them in my on the top group here, and or possibly call some of them. The ones here at the bottom are figs that I tried and I will not keep, unfortunately. And not that I don't like them or they're bad, but I will tell you, for example, the Mount Etnas, they don't have any advantage when I have a greenhouse. Honestly, if you don't have a greenhouse, Azores Dark is a little bit sweeter and better than Red Lebanese Bacca Valley, but not everyone is going to have access to a greenhouse. So nothing negative about these varieties, but honestly, if I can ripen a Smith and a Bretto on some of these here at around the same time, with the help of the greenhouse, of course, then I don't think I want to, because I don't have unlimited space as well. I'm probably not going to keep them. Campinera and Naran Candy. I liked Campinera better overall. Both are honey figs, by the way. Both are super early, but as I mentioned, it's not an advantage point anymore. I do have a greenhouse. If for any reason I had to move and I don't have access to greenhouse, I wouldn't have a choice. I'm gonna have to go back and get Iran Candy, Campineri, LSU Hollier, which I also had last season. For now, I'm honestly not a big fan of honey figs, so that's why prefer not to keep them, and instead keep duplicates of the figs that I like. The bottom of the list here: Culled Blanc, Cosme Magno, Culled Mutante, Basilica Sica, Boysenberry, BNR, and Angelito. I haven't had any ripe figs from any of these yet. So Boysenberry is almost close, but not there yet to rank at all. So that's my list so far. So as I mentioned here, it's hard to give a perfect score, an exact rank, but I can tell you everything you see here on top is going to stay in my collection. That's all. I'm gonna do another review probably end of the season, if not earlier. If anything ripens from this group here, or ripen more figs from this group here, or from this group in the bottom and made it to the top of the list, I'm gonna update and post another video. That's the update from my side, and please leave me a comment or any questions if you have. Thank you for watching.